without further ado, I want to introduce our author in the spotlight. His name is Aaron Solly. He is a mental health expert, and he's on a mission to make a positive impact on Canadians dealing with mental illness. Aaron has a 20-year background in financial services, business development, counseling, adult education, human resource management, which provides his clients with a unique advantage. His book, Engage, Connect, Grow, is on the Amazon bestseller list for organizational behavior and workplace. Aaron has gone through his own struggle with depression and anxiety. For many years, he kept it a secret from his family, friends, and coworkers. During his corporate career, it did impact his overall performance. He had many moments of feeling like a failure, worrying about making mistakes, and fearing he would lose his job. It was when he was fully committed to taking responsibility for his own situation and investing in his own mental health that his life began to change. Oh man. Today, through his company, Engage Coaching Group, he helps individuals and organizations improve their interpersonal communication, leadership skills, sales, and employee engagement. Please welcome Aaron Solly. Hi, Aaron.
Hi.
Good to see you again.
Thank you.
His book, I'll hold it up high because I'm short. So, Aaron, we're going to start with a little bit about your background. What is your background?
So as you mentioned in my bio, the majority of my career was in the banking world. Right? So I grew up believing that I needed to be in a secure, job, corporate job, have a pension, have that security. And yet I had this entrepreneurship, this drive to do something more inside of me. But I followed through with taking the corporate job, and ultimately it actually wasn't fulfilling me. I wasn't happy in what I was doing.
You always been a writer?
You know what? I actually started in high school. I had an English teacher in grade 12 who was actually one of the strictest teachers that we had in the school, and everybody cringed when I said who I had this teacher. And one of the things, like she actually was preparing us for university. So she was very strict, yet she wanted us to make sure that we were going to be excelling in English once we got out of high school. And she actually helped me bring out the writer in me, because we had to write the ending to a Charles Dickens book, The Mystery of Edmund Drood. You're familiar with that, where Edmund Drood dies. And I had to, I put it off. All of us were putting it off till close to the end of the year. And when I went to her with my idea, she actually she completely changed. She wasn't that strict teacher anymore. She lit up and she was excited, and she actually inspired me to keep writing. And she wanted to publish what I had written so she could share it with other students in future years. That really got me going and wanting to find other ways to bring my writing up.
We all need a teacher like that in our
I know,
lives, don't we?
we do.
We all need a teacher like that in our lives.
Yeah.
Yes.
So inspiring.
So you went from corporate to counseling. What was the catalyst? That's a huge leap.
Yeah.
What was the catalyst for that?
I know, everybody tells me that. It's just my journey. It's weird. I'm just used to it. But if I look back, back in 2011, I had a lot going on. Like I said, I wasn't happy in the corporate world. I was doing all the things I thought was going to work. I was reading self-help books, doing courses, and still struggling with anxiety and depression. I was also going through a separation, which led to a divorce. And I had a 2-year-old, my oldest son, who was 2 at the time, so I was dealing with the impact of that. And so all of these things just kind of came together, and I was actually in the basement of this townhouse that I owned at the time in Cloverdale, Surrey, and realized that I needed to stop asking myself, why is this happening to me? And actually ask myself, what is this for? Right? And when I did that, is when I started to really need to shift my perspective and make the changes that I eventually became a counselor and did a whole bunch of it.
And so you became a counselor, but why write a book?
You know what, I just, as I was going through my counseling program, it's a 3-year program, through a local organization called Clear Mind International, and I just, in second year you start to work on actually your counseling skills, and this idea for a book just kept coming up. And I journaled since the late 90s. I used journaling to get all my feelings out because I didn't know how to express my feelings. I thought being happy was what the goal was, right? And so if I wasn't happy, something was wrong with me, right? And so when I was frustrated and mad, I'd be writing it out and just trying to figure out what was going on. And then when I was going through the counseling program, I thought, you know what, there's something here. There's something, all these journal entries I have from like early to mid 90s up until present day, you know, like there's something that's got to be here to be able to help other people that have gone through similar things that I've gone through. Yeah.
So the book is Engage, Connect, Grow. What is the book about?
What is it about? So it is, it's got 52 lessons, and a lot of it is my journal entries that I've done over the years. And it's about, you know, guiding people through their own journey, wherever they're at, and to help them get to know themselves a bit better, and to be able to start to explore, you know, a little bit deeper as to what's really going on, to move through any anxiety, depression, or any stresses or struggles that they're facing.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I always ask this question. Not every author likes it, but I like it. You go into a bookstore and you see this book. It's sitting on the shelf. And of course, this book is with all the other books just like this book.
Yeah.
And so if I pick up this book, and I look at the back, and I look at the front, and I read through it, and you know, I take a browse, I generally think it's making a promise to me. If I buy it, there's a reason. The promise of the author has somehow come through. What are you hoping? What is your promise?
The promise, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess the promise is just to be, to help you move through another part of your journey, right? To take a step. Because when I look back at my own journey, every book that I read, every speaker that I saw was just another piece of my journey, and helped open up a window that was maybe shut, or a doorway that was closed, right? So my promise is to be able to invite you, wherever you're at, to be able to work a little bit more on where you want to get to, and bring out, you know, I talk about getting to the heart of what truly matters, so bringing out your passion, bringing out your creativity, bringing out your joy, and getting you, you know, ultimately bringing out who you are and who you truly want to be and bring to the world.
And I like how it's organized.
Mm.
So I'd like you to talk a little bit about how it's organized, because it is organized as Engage,
It is.
Connect, and Grow. Can
Yeah.
you expand on that for us?
Yeah, so I've done it in 3 sections. So the engage section is, the definition I use for engage is about deciding to take ownership or take you know, commitment to move forward with whatever you're going through. Right? So the engage section of the book is about 21 lessons that are all about deciding to make that leap. And okay, I've got some challenges here. There's some patterns that keep showing up. I'm going to start to work through that, and really it's self-directed and it's self-focused on okay, what's getting a little bit closer to what's going on. The connect section is about reconnecting to values, to beliefs, beliefs that you actually want to follow through with, not the false beliefs, but what we actually truly believe in. Connecting with family members, connecting with other people in our life in a different way. So to be able to connect with ourselves and then be able to bring that to connection with other people that maybe we're having trouble connecting with in our life. And then the grow section is about different tools in addition to journaling that helped me with my own growth. So meditation, even things like just basic, safe survival things like eating properly, getting enough sleep, like just different resources to help you grow to be able to get to the next place you want to get to.
Mm-hmm. The other thing I found interesting about this book, and I'm going to just very quickly so people can see a little bit, it's not all just words he's writing to you. So, and you used a lot of your journals. Can you explain a little bit about, because I found that really interesting, how you've, and let me see if I can find one. Oh, here we go. So, what is holding you back? There's what is that? This is
So it's the journal
explain
entry.
it a little bit.
Yeah. So I've taken a lesson and then I'll write a journal entry that's related to my own journey around that lesson, just to show the reader that, here's how there's no rules. I talk about that at the beginning. There's no rules around journaling, which I thought there was when I was started doing it, that I had to write a certain way. So just to give them an idea, this is what you could actually have an example of, and then it's possible to write about whatever you're going through. Yeah.
So this is a real journal entry.
Real
One of
journal.
your real journal entries from January 2000.
Yeah.
So the topic, you journal about it,
Yeah.
and then you lead them through.
And then there's exercises that actually they can then essentially journal themselves, and I provide them with questions to guide them through it. So if they need help along the way, they've got the questions there.
I've never actually seen a book quite like this where it's someone's personal, like it's very, very personal. It's their personal journals. I thought that was quite interesting.
Yeah.
So your book journey as an author. Let's talk. We have authors.
Yes.
Let's talk about the authorship.
Yeah.
What was your book journey as an author like? How did you even get this done?
Yeah. So the book turned out completely different than what I had thought. Right? Completely different. You can relate to that. Surprise, surprise, right? Yeah. I had a whole series of journal entries, and then I had it broken into different sections, like 3 parts, but all the questions were at the end of each section. Like there wasn't lessons along the way, and so I learned a lot about, through working with Julie Salisbury on how to make it, just to take it to the next level and to make it more reader friendly, right? And so that, I did all the work to get it to, write all these journal entries out. I actually kept my journals over these years, and so a lot of it was writing out the journal entries, get them into my computer, and then she helped me with, okay, how can we shift this so that the reader can actually engage more in it? And so it took a little bit longer to get that process going and to break it into the ultimately able to create the 52 lessons so people can do essentially 1 lesson a week and have it be going through it for a year.
And that is developmental editing. Just so everyone knows, that's the technical term for that is developmental editing. So if you've written a book and you're not sure it's written for the reader, it's not, maybe the organization isn't quite right, or there's something or structural or developmental editing. And it's a really good idea to have somebody, as you say, it's completely different. It's so much more readable now. Okay. What was your greatest challenge?
Greatest challenge?
Greatest challenge in writing this book?
It was just actually writing it. I actually was listening to CBC radio one day, way back in 2012, 2013, and they were interviewing Stephen Harper about writing his book. And they asked him, what did he do to write it? And he said, 20 minutes a day. So I actually learned something from that. And I actually just committed to doing 20 minutes a day. And if I happen to have more time, I would do a little bit more. But to actually sit down and commit to doing that, it was amazing after a week, after 2 weeks, after a month, how much content I had just from committing to doing 20 minutes.
I think that might be a theme today with panelists as well. What was your biggest lesson in writing this book? So we have authors here, and they've come for advice.
Yeah.
What is your biggest lesson? What is your best piece of advice for the authors in the room?
Yeah, I would say don't worry about the strategy. Don't worry about what's happening afterwards. Just get it out, right? Write it on paper or on your computer. Just whatever you want to write about. Don't worry about how it's going to look at the end. Just enjoy the journey of getting it and just getting it done. And then all the other things will happen. It was amazing how many things just fell into place after I had completed it. Right? It was just getting it completed and not worrying about being perfect. Right? It doesn't have to be exact and all that.
Nice. And now that it is completed and you've published it, what has it done for you? What has it done for your life? What has it done for your work?
Yeah, it's I've been able to speak to organizations and be able to help people that are going through mental health challenges. I spoke at the public library at an event they had. I spoke at the Justice Institute, Real Estate Board of Greater Vancouver, and Chamber of Commerce. So it's been great to be able to just share these lessons in various formats, and everybody seems to be getting benefit from them. And it's really neat to see the benefits and the wins that people are getting just from hearing about the journal entries, and then being able to actually, I'll have them do the lessons in some of the little mini workshops they'll do. It's been great.
Excellent. Where can we buy this book? Okay, so I think you have brought a few copies.
I do have some copies
so
here,
we can buy a copy here for how much?
$20.
$20. If we don't buy a copy here, where can we buy your book? All the different places.
So currently it's on Amazon right now. I'm still working on getting it in the bookstores, but it's on Amazon, and you can get it on Amazon.com or .ca.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Getting your book into a bookstore. Good question for today.
Yes.
Great, Janet?
Yeah.
We have a panelist who can help you with that.
That'll be good.
Yes, excellent. Will you write another book, Aaron?
Most likely, yeah,
Yes?
I think so.
You've changed your answer.
I did. Yeah, there's no book that's, I don't have an idea yet, but actually, after you asked me that question, I realize that there's bound to be, I'm pretty sure there's something that's coming, I don't know what it is yet, and I'm open to when it comes, it'll come. But right now I'm focusing on, I'm sharing the lessons in this book and seeing where it takes me.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Where can we take your workshops?
So I have an online program, so I've actually taken the book and all the lessons and videotaped the lessons. And so it's actually a self-directed program. So in addition to going through the book, students can actually go online on their website and register and have the visual side, be able to see me doing the lessons and going through it with people as well. And then there's a workshop. The workshops, I don't have anything that I've got scheduled as of yet, but there is actually a fundraising workshop that we're doing in Surrey in May to raise money for mental health. And collaborating with a friend of mine who's an artist, and she has an art studio, does Ellis Art in Langley, Frida Lombard. And so we're going to combine my journaling work and her artwork, and we're going to do a 2-hour art journaling workshop for people. Yeah, it's on Facebook if you're all interested. And all the profits are going to mental health.
Can you post it in our YVR Facebook?
Yeah,
YVR Authors Facebook group?
Definitely.
Do you mind
Yeah.
posting a link there?
Yeah.
That would be excellent. Now I'm going to ask you to read an excerpt.
Yeah.
But just before we do that, does anyone have questions for Aaron?
Just a comment, I was just wanting to interject. When you said you know an artist, the thought came to me, you don't have to take it on. Maybe you could do an edited version with pictures.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah, for sure.
Excellent.
Just a thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the lessons is all about creativity.
Just because, people are mostly visual. And
Yes.
I mean, I love the cover because it's my favorite colors, it's like easy reading, but just it might capture people's attention.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments for Aaron today? No, I'm holding them all for the panel. Now, do you want the other book, or do you want?
I can find it here.
Yes. Okay.
And not that you have to write it.
I can.
Yeah. So I thought I would read from one of the lessons. Lesson 5 is all about feelings, and feelings was accessing and starting to actually experience my feelings was quite a journey for me. Like I said, about believing that I had to always be happy and that there was no other feeling. So this, I'll read 2 journal entries, one from 2000 and then one from 2012 around this, just to kind of give you a change in perspective in my journey. So in March 19th, 2000, I wrote, "I'm feeling isolated. I don't know if that's the word, but I don't feel like talking to anybody. It's like someone could say whatever they wanted to me, and I just sit there and not replying. Little things have been frustrating me. It's like I just want to hide in my room for a while. My self-esteem is depleted, and I don't know why. This seems to be happening every few months." Okay, so we'll fast forward to February 23rd, 2012, and this is actually after a workshop I did through Clear Mind, when I was going through my separation and in that low depressed state. This is after the workshop. So I wrote, "I got to feel and it was painful. I got to feel and it was scary. I got to feel and it was wonderful. I got to feel, I got to feel. I got to feel and it woke me up. I got to feel and it cleared my head. I got to feel and it made me laugh. I got to feel, I got to feel. I got to feel and share it with the world. I got to feel and it gave me a voice. I got to feel and it scared those around me. I got to feel, I got to feel. I got to feel and now it's in hiding. I got to feel and the fear is on. I got to feel and I had moments that I've lost it. I got to feel, I got to feel. I feel the anxiety and fear. I feel strength that I didn't have before. I feel lighter and clearer. I feel I can do this. I feel a new sense of love surrounding me. I feel grateful, so grateful. And I feel comforted that even if I don't feel this 100%, it's okay.